The first card you have, you passed, is Justice. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of work around this, a lot of work. I'm seeing problems with people in work, and I think you're having some problems with people in work, and I think that was also reflecting on what was going on in your private life as well. So you had some problems there, and then you had some problems around you in your private life. Now, I think what was going on at work, what I'm seeing here is that I'm seeing a lot of carrying. It feels like you were carrying people, that you were doing a lot of work for other people that they should have been doing. You weren't literally carrying people. You weren't doing piggybacks around the office. But no, you're carrying people that they weren't doing their fair share, basically. And you're a very strong worker. You're a solid worker. And I think some of these people, they're a little bit more about status, more about showing off than actually doing the actual work. And you were carrying a lot of these people. And I think what was happening is you were asking them, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? Have you done that? Have you done this? And it was always no, or some excuse, or, they were lazy, all sorts of kinds of things like that was driving you crazy. So I think in the end, you cut some people off, but obviously at work, if you're in a workplace, you can't just cut people off. So I think you made a decision to just say, okay, I'm not going to rely on any of these people. I'm not going to ask them anything anymore. If I've got more work to do myself, that's fine. I'll just have to do more work myself, or find some other way to do things. Because I think doing the extra work is less stressful for you than asking over and over again and getting nowhere. So I think even though you had more to do, I think you felt better off doing that. So that was a cutting off in some kind of way, cutting all these people off, cutting off anything that was driving you crazy, and just weighing things up like the scales in this card and saying, well, I've got to weigh up the situation, and I'm better off just doing the things myself than relying on these people. So that's what I'm getting there. And I'm seeing in your private life, there was someone who was very, very close to you. They probably still are very close to you, I think, very close emotionally. Now, I think with this person, because you'd already cut out not just people in your work, but I think there are other people who you cut out as well. And things you'd cut out of your life that you weren't happy with. So you were really kind of moving on from a lot of things. But there was this one person there, and it was like you're really weighing this up as well. It was like, should I distance myself? Should I leave this person? Should I stay with this person? I think you've given them chance after chance. I think you tried to give them opportunities to come and talk to you. You've had a lot of problems with this person. You're going backwards and forwards. I think you still are, actually. You've forgiven them lots and lots of times. And the thing is, the problem with this is, you really care for them. You really care for them emotionally. And so it's really, really difficult, because you've got emotions on one side and you've got the practical on the other side. And really very, very hard to work out. I think you're probably still going through this. I can't tell you what you should do. I don't know, because I'm seeing both sides are pretty much equal. I mean, if one outweighed the other one, you could say, well, I'll do this or I'll do that. But it doesn't feel like that to me. It feels as if both sides are equal. I really care about this person on the one side, and practically on the other side, I'm being drained. I'm not happy. I've got problems. So very, very hard, very difficult. I think you're probably still very up and down with this. You also have a long history with them, I think. And I don't know what to really do. I can see both sides. All I can say is I can see both sides, and I can't say what I think you should do. Yeah, because both sides are equal. Okay, so I wish I could. The next card you have, you pass the Page of Wands. Yeah, a lot of work here, still a lot of work here. So I think I've gotten something about this in your readings before. I'm seeing it again here. Okay, so there's another kind of weighing up going on around your work. And I think it feels like whatever you do for your work, whether that's a business job, whatever it is, I think what you're doing right now, you worked really hard on. And I think working on this, to getting through this work, I think it actually got your got you out of a bad situation you're in. I think you're in a bad situation, financially, emotionally at one time, and you did this work and you worked and worked and worked and you got your way out of all of that, and now you're in a much better position. So there's this gratefulness I'm feeling, grateful for this work, and also grateful for yourself, because you did really well and you should be proud of yourself because you really worked your way out of this thing. But now you've gotten past that, you've worked your way out, you're at a better position. But the feeling I'm getting here is outgrowing. I'm outgrowing something. I'm outgrowing the work that I'm doing right now. If you look at this page, he actually looks like a child who's kind of measuring how tall he is. You know, if you've ever measured children up against a wall or a door frame, that's what this page looks like. He's measuring himself up against this wand. And I think that's what you were doing. You were like measuring yourself up against the workplace or the work you were doing. And you're kind of thinking to yourself, well, I've outgrown this. I'm bigger than this now. It served me once, but now it doesn't. Same as all these people who you've let go of. They served you once. It sounds self-serving, but it's not like that. It sounds horrible, but I think you know what I mean. You know, they don't serve you anymore, and now this doesn't serve you anymore. So there's also, so I think part of you, again, this is this weighing up, because I think a part of you knows you've outgrown this. There's also another part of you, I think, that's kind of a little bit like, how do I explain this? I'm getting this feeling of kind of nostalgia, fondness. So it's kind of like, this work's been a saviour to me. It got me out of this bad problem. It took my mind off a horrible time in my life, gave me focus, and I think it gave you an identity as well. And that's what you're that's what you're struggling with. Because like, this is my identity. Now, if I move into something else, I've lost that identity. I've lost all of that. I've lost everything. And you haven't. You're not going to. You know, I think you're definitely ready to move on to bigger things. You absolutely are. You were at this time and you still are. And, you know, just what you have to remember is that you'll always have the memories of what you did. You can always be proud of yourself. You can always be proud of that time. Yeah, so I think, again, you're having this weighing this up thing. You're weighing things up. It's like, you know it's right for you to move forward, but there's this hesitation. What am I going to lose? What am I going to lose if I move forward? I'm a bit afraid. I'm afraid because now I'm in a comfortable position, and if I move out of that, I'll be in an uncomfortable position. That's kind of that as well. So you're grappling with that as well, or you were at this time. So yeah, the last card you have, you pass the Page of Pentacles. Okay, so here's this message. This is following on from the Page of Wands. It's very, very clear. Don't be afraid to move forward. Now, there's a lot of pride in what you've done, and so there should be, because you should be really proud of what you've done and where this has taken you to where you are now. But, you know, there's a lot to look forward to. There's a lot ahead of you. If you stay in one place, it's not going to be a good thing for you, and you know that. You know, you're bigger than where you are now. I keep on seeing that. And I think you're already starting to move away from an old phase and into a new one. I don't know if you're fully conscious of that yet. It might be subconscious, because I think moving away from people who are weighing you down, holding you back, that's a sign that you're moving forward, whether you realise it or not. And, you know, I think that things started feeling different to you as well. And but I think also because there was a lot of confusion in your head about this person in the Justice card that you care about, and you didn't know whether to lose them or not. That might have been why things hadn't come into conscious yet, that you were kind of moving forward. But I think you will realise this soon, because this shift's really, really happening to you. All the signs are there that things are shifting around in your life. And what's coming forward for you? It's something that you've wanted. It's something you've been waiting for. It feels big. Feels really big to me. It's not just like a step up. It feels bigger than that. It actually feels like a step into a whole new life, a whole new realm. And it's totally you. It's about you. you're at the center of this, if that makes sense to you. So I really hope this makes sense to someone, because I think the big message here is don't fear change, don't fear looking forward, because in your future, I'm just looking ahead into what I'm seeing here in the center here, in the present. There's so many pentacles there. So it's to do with money. That's, your career's at the center of all this reading. So it's to do with your career. But don't fear that. Don't fear what's ahead of you. Because if you look at this page, he's holding onto this coin, but he's like, oh, I'm going to drop this. I'm really fearful, because it's on the tip of his fingers. Don't fear what's ahead of you. That's the message there. I hope that makes sense to you, because to me it sounds really mixed up in my head, but maybe that's just my brain. Okay, so the first card you have your presence, the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, beautiful, beautiful card. Okay, so yeah, again, this new realm that you're heading into, it's going to bring you into new levels of abundance. Abundance is going to come with that, because this is all career related, or it's all job related. It's happening gradually as well. It's not going to be like you snap your fingers and things suddenly change. There's a progression here. Look at this progression. You've got the Page of Pentacles, and now the Queen of Pentacles, and then later on I can see down there you've got the King of Pentacles. So it's like you're graduating from the Page, who's like the learner, the apprentice, then you've got the Queen in the middle, and then you've got the King of Pentacles, who's kind of at the top of the company. So your job and business, that's all at the center of this. There are coins everywhere. But I think your expansion isn't just about money or status. It's about your sense of self and your identity. And that's why it was so hard for you to move away from this old work or this old job. And it probably still is now, because your identity, it gave you a new identity. And I think your identity is still aligned with that right now. And you're struggling to move from that into this new realm. But it is the best thing for you. That's what I keep on saying to you. And I think this is why it's happening gradually, because you're going to be learning lessons as you go along. So by the time you get to the King of Pentacles stage, you'll be ready for these bigger things. Because, the fact is, we all know this, with more success comes more stress. Different kind of stress, but more stress, because there's more to lose. And I think now, because this is happening gradually, you're training yourself for that. That's the progression from the Page of Pentacles, the learner, to the King of Pentacles. It's happening very gradually. And I think, I just need to tell you this, because this is what I'm seeing. You're the right person to have this change. You're the right person to go into this new realm. Because your motivation isn't status. Your motivation isn't, looking big, looking important. That's why you're the right person to be doing this. And again, same as what I'm seeing in the page, let this happen. Relax with this. Don't fear this change. Let yourself go into this new phase, because this is what you're supposed to be doing. This is what you're meant to be doing. That's what I'm seeing. Okay, so the next card you have your presence, the Seven of Swords. Yes. Okay, this is what I'm seeing here. I think this is probably about this person who you're kind of in two minds about. I think what's happening here is, you're trying to decide whether it's worth having this person around you or not. And it's not just about whether it's worth that. This just isn't about, it's not about what's worth it to you. You really care about them. You really worry about them. I think you have a sense of responsibility to them. You're not a big martyr who puts up with everything, but you just care about them. You just care about them. And you feel some kind of responsibility for them as well. But it's, you can't just throw them away. You cannot just pick this person up and throw them away. You can't do that with anyone. But with this person, it's very, very hard. Because you do have that, you do have those emotions for them. I think you are having conversations with them, or you have been. I'm seeing some very difficult conversations, actually. There's a lot of frustration here, because I don't think this person wants to see the truth. And, it's not that they don't know what the truth is, they do, but it's like they're not admitting to something. They're not admitting to something. And I think one part of your mind saying, if they won't admit to this and they won't apologize, that's it. But then there's this other side of you, that's just really struggling. It's just really struggling, and you're just going backwards and forwards. I was originally seeing a love connection here, but it might not be that. It could be, but it could also be, they could be your child as well. Might be an adult child. And I'm seeing that because, if they're your child, that kind of bond's almost impossible to break. So yeah, that's why this is really, really hard for you. And if it's a love connection, I have to be blunt and I have to tell you that they're a little bit childish, but I'm not sure about that. But okay, so what I can say is at least try to get some distance from them if you can, to clear your head before you decide. Because, if this resonates, you're clearly, you're going backwards and forwards, you're really struggling, and, you're trying to, I want you to go into this new realm, I want you to move forwards, and you can't do that properly if you've got all this taking up all your energy and your time and your stress and all of that. So at least take some time out for them. If they live with you or if they're around you all the time, try and distance yourself mentally. I know that's a lot more difficult, but get away as much as you can, and just get that mental distance from them if you can, just to clear your head as much as you possibly can. Okay, so the last card you have your presence, the King of Pentacles. Yeah, this is such an interesting card for Taurus to have, because for you, this is about mastering yourself. I don't know if you can see this. It's a really busy card and it's probably out of the thing. So I'll move it up so you can see. If you look at this, his foot's on top of a bull's head. And obviously the bull's representing Taurus. So this is about you mastering yourself, getting on top of your problems, getting on top of your fears. And this is all to get yourself to the level of the King of Pentacles. And, it's all over this reading. You've already started doing that. You've broken free. You've gotten rid of some of the people who are holding you back, clinging on to you. Look at these vine leaves all over this king. They're clinging on. They're all over him. And if you can imagine this king kind of standing up and just breaking all these vines off him, that's what you're in the process of doing, like a superhero kind of standing up and breaking all the vines. So that's what you're doing. That's what you're in the process of doing now. So you are getting there, I think, whether you want to or not, whether you realize it or not. It's because this is what you're meant to be doing. So even if you don't realize it, you're being led to this. You're being led into this new realm. Okay, so the first card you have your future is the Ace of Cups. Beautiful card. Okay, so yeah, I'm seeing a little bit of a warning here. I think this is reminding you to protect yourself, protect your emotions. Because with this person who's not admitting things, it just feels like you're going over the same words over and over again, the same emotions over and over again. It just feels like this big cycle going around and around. It feels really exhausting to me. And it just feels like, like a merry-go-round. You're going around and you can't get off. And like you're losing energy because you're concentrating on this. You're trying to argue with them and you're trying to talk to them. And you need to be able to get off. You need to be able to enjoy other things in your life, focus on other things, focus on this new thing that you're doing. So, I keep on getting this over and over again. Try to get out of this cycle at least for a while so you can live your life, do other things, think about other things. And I think if you do that, firstly, obviously it'll give you a break. And also it'll give you, perspective on things. And you need that perspective. You need that perspective, so that you can make this decision. The problem with this decision is, I know you're really grappling with this very, very hard. It's not just a head decision. So there's a lot of emotion in this. And, I'd love to be able to tell you what I think you should do, but I don't know, because all I can see is these two equal sides, and emotion on one side and practicality on the other side, and they're equal. So it's a big, big, big struggle. I can see that. Yeah. Okay, so the next card you have, your future, is the Hermit. Okay, this is what I'm seeing here. This is something completely different. It's kind of tied in, but it's different. Okay, so you have moved on from a lot of people. I'm seeing that all over this reading. And some people that you've moved on from, I don't think they'll ever realise why that was. Because I think, you can try and tell these people, I can't be around this for this reason, or there's this problem, or whatever. Some people are going to listen. Most people aren't going to listen. They'll be angry, they'll blame you, all these things, probably gossiping. I'm actually seeing people doing that. And they'll just never, ever realise, because they don't want to realise. They're just caught up in being angry. And I think you do know that there are quite a few people, quite a few, but some people who are kind of angry and they're talking about you a bit. You know that. But there is someone else who's, I think they're thinking very, very deeply, very, very heavily about this thing. And I think they're thinking about their past. They're thinking about things they've done. Yeah, they're going through some really, really big changes here. I think maybe in the past there was some destructive behaviour around them. I think they might have even there might have been some addiction around them. I think in the past they have a lot of regrets, and I think now they're still in this kind of really deep thought mode. I think they're thinking very, very carefully about things. Everything's going around and around in their head. Now, I think eventually they might approach you, but they're not going to approach you for a while, because I think they still have so much to work through. Yeah, they're going to approach you eventually. Now, I want to make this very clear. If this is an ex, I'm not seeing them wanting to come back into a relationship with you again. That's not what I'm seeing here. It's not the ex coming back wanting a relationship. This is about someone wanting to clear things up. I'm seeing some apologies, but it's not going to happen for a long time, for a while anyway. Probably at the end of probably next year sometime, they're going to come and talk to you, because they've got a lot to work through, but they're not coming back for a relationship. I have to stress that, in case you think, oh, the ex is coming back. That's not what this is about. Okay, so the last card you have, your future, is the Eight of Swords. So again, this person's really struggling. They're just really realizing what they've done, what they've said in the past. And, it's all going through their heads. It's like a movie. It's playing around and around in their heads. Oh, I did that. Oh, I did this. Oh, no, it's terrible. And, I think the big thing that they're struggling with, the biggest thing here in their mind, is that they can't turn back time. They wish they could go back. Like this woman, she can't go back. There are all these swords behind her. She's got a home behind the swords up on the hill. So she's moved away from her home, moved away from her past. And now she can't go back to that, because these swords are there. And so that's their big thing. But yeah, they are going to come back. They're going to come and talk to you. And I think they're going to talk to a lot of other people as well, not just you. And I think before they come in and talk to you, you're going to get a few signs that they're coming in. And this happens to you quite a lot. I think before someone comes into your life or talks to you, you get signs that they're coming in. I think that happens to you a lot. So, you might hear some music that reminds you of them. You might hear some people talk about them. Lots of little things are going to happen, and that's going to have you thinking about this person. And then that's when they're going to come in. Again, I have to really stress this with you, that this isn't an ex coming back for a relationship, if this is an ex. It's all about, this is what I'm seeing, cleaning up my mess. I want to clean up this mess. I want to clean up my mess. And I want to get things clear and clean with you. That's what I'm seeing that they're thinking, that's what they want to do. So be prepared for this. It's not going to be for a while, but yeah, that's what I'm seeing.